Good morning, and welcome to Missoula Real Estate Today. This is Denny Bedard. Missoula Real Estate Today is presented by Diane Beck and Becky Peterson, the Beck and Beck team at Windermere Real Estate. Beck and Beck provide complete service for your real estate transaction and bring you guests who provide interesting information about products and services available in our community. And now, Missoula Real Estate Today on News Talk KGVO. Good to have you here. Happy Father's Day weekend, all the daddies out there. And if you need buildings for storage or maybe living, things like that, you got to expand a little bit. We got the guy for you. My guest this week on Missoula Real Estate Today, Ryan Medlinger, owner of Reliable Steel Erectors here in Missoula. Welcome to the show, Ryan.
Thanks for having me, Denny.
You bet. Let's do a little bit of the get acquainted here. What is Reliable Steel Erectors, and what all do you guys do?
We are a general contractor that specializes in steel buildings. We do several different things. We do steel erection, pre-engineered metal buildings. We do structural steel, barn-dominiums, shops, carports, overhangs, pergolas, whatever steel.
Okay, all right. I was going to ask you about it later in the show, but since you brought up the word, I love the word barn-dominium. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so it's really popular in the South. It's pretty much just a square building or square steel building that has a wood structures in the inside, which is the living quarters. Plus, they usually have a massive garage, which you can walk out and see from your living quarters.
Okay.
It's just tied together, mostly just a shop and, a living space.
Yeah. Does it kind of have to look like a barn to be a barn-dominium? Is that the rule?
No, it doesn't quite have to look like a barn-dominium, but it definitely can.
Well, your background, Ryan, what interested you about the industry and what led you to start up the business a few years back here in Missoula?
All right, so back in 21, we started the business, but leading up to 21, I did steel construction for a company called Hop Construction. We built several steel buildings, the Forest Service hangar, the Big Sky Brewery, the MK building across from the Forest Service hangar. And I just kind of fell in love with building steel. We loved to build from the ground up and see the infrastructure come to life. So really, I love steel buildings, fell in love with it. Kind of took a turn, went to diesel school, graduated with an associate's degree of diesel technology, got into the mining industry, and started being a mechanic in the mining industry, but it led to building steel structures underground.
No kidding. Where was that?
That was over in Nevada, right outside of Elko, Nevada. Okay. And I also worked in the Troy mine for a little while. We did do some steel sets in there, but I mostly mechanicked in the Troy mine. But did more of the steel buildings underground over in Nevada. And then, I was in the mining industry for about 18 years. Gee. And the whole time I was in the mining industry, I was thinking about steel buildings. And I never stayed in touch with any of the guys that I was working with or worked with before in the steel building industry. And, 21 hit. It was right in the middle of COVID. We sold our house over in Nevada and decided to move to Montana. And we started up this business. And I got a hold of some of the guys that I worked with, and they were on board with starting the company, and we've just been going strong ever since.
Yeah, and Montana was not an alien place to you. I want to have you talk a little bit about your background, because I've known your dad, John Medlinger, for a long time, and Corey Medlinger at Superior Hardwoods of Montana. You got a family tie here.
Yeah, correct. So my brother's kind of taken over Superior Hardwoods. They're doing great over there, and really, I'm trying my best to tie the steel buildings in with the wood too, because it just looks good together, and that way we can utilize both companies.
Well, yeah, for sure. I mean, that's a pretty good ally to have.
Definitely.
Nice family tie there.
It looks good too.
Yes, sir. Missoula Real Estate Today, presented by Diane Beck and Becky Peterson, the Beck and Beck team at Windermere Real Estate here on News Talk KGVO. And my guest, Ryan Medlinger, owner of Reliable Steel Erectors here in Missoula. You started talking about this a little bit when you were working in Nevada. What was it about steel buildings that you really, well, you had a passion for it, it sounds like, but you must have sensed that maybe there was a need for a business venture like that in Western Montana.
Yeah, I mean, it just was something that was always on my mind. I dreamed about it, and then all the way down to even picturing the guys that I was going to have working with me. Like 4 years before I even started this job, I was thinking about the guys, and they're working for me right now as we speak.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, it's just.
Was it always with kind of an eye on Montana? Did you?
It was. I mean, I always knew I was going to come back to Montana at
Yeah.
some point. I really just moved away to make the money at the time because I had a kid. I had kids on the way, and I needed to make that money. But I got tired of working for someone else, and I wanted to do my own thing.
Well, take us through that process, Ryan. Somebody contacts you at Reliable Steel Erectors, and they've got a design in mind. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. We'll talk about that too. But what are the steps we take from there?
So depending on how big the project, usually we got involved an architect and an engineer. If it's just a straight up building, then usually we don't have to. If it's a pre-engineered metal building, we don't have to involve an architect and an engineer, other than for the monoslab that it's being built on. But for the most part, we send everything off to an architect and an engineer. We get the slab designed, and then we can come up with prices for everything. We submit that to the client. If they like the numbers, then we take the next step and order the building, and then we just start lining up subs for concrete, plumbing, electrical, and then we do the permitting process. And just go from there.
Do you get to see, or do you have to see the property first, or is it good that you see the property?
I mean, it is, but we can start the picture before we have the property.
Yeah.
Some architects actually prefer that, and then they'll adjust to the property depending on the property. If it's well or city water. I mean, it could, change the price of what they have to do to the architect drawings.
What are some of the many building inquiries you get all the time? I'm sure there's lots of reasons people contact you. We did bring up barn dominiums already, but there's probably many, many reasons why people contact you given what they have in mind.
Yeah, a lot of people have questions about the barn dominiums. I don't feel like they're as popular up in the north as they are down in the south. I think they're becoming popular, but they haven't blown up like they have down in the south. A lot of questions on steel roofs or metal siding. There's a lot of new options out there from Epic Steel. I mean, we're pretty versatile with everything that we do, so any questions we can answer.
Well, and I suppose a lot of it has to do with, what you're going to put in there. Doesn't necessarily have to be a living space. I don't know what, RVs, both. Probably whatever you want to be able to put in there probably has a lot to do with what you're, looking to order from you guys.
Definitely. I mean, whether it's storing boats or storing cars to carports or pavilions on the back patio or overhangs off your house or just all kinds of options. I mean, we do a lot of structural steel too. We follow ASIC certification, and so we do structural steel beams in like several story houses. I mean, we're trying to do it all.
Missoula Real Estate Today, presented by Diane Beck and Becky Peterson. The Beck and Beck team at Windermere Real Estate here on News Talk KGVO. And my guest, Ryan Medlinger, owner of Reliable Steel Erectors here in Missoula. Tell me a little bit more about you and your team's qualifications. What makes Reliable Steel Erectors a trustworthy choice and a trustworthy crew?
We are licensed and bonded, and everybody has their business their license and their exemption certificate. So everybody to me is a subcontractor right now. I do have a few W-2 employees, but most of my guys are subcontracted.
What goes into the recruiting process for you? That's a challenge in any business, of course. What do you look for in a quality team member?
A lot has to do with their mindset and their goals and how they carry themselves. It's just pretty important to have, a purpose in life and to have that drive to have a good employee. There's a lot of people out there that don't have that, and it's hard to find that in a person.
I would think some artistic vision has to come into play too, doesn't it? I mean, as far as somebody does not walk into Reliable Steel Erectors and say, here, well, maybe some do, but not everyone walks in and says, hey, here's exactly what I want. They're kind of looking, looking to you for some help or advice. Right?
Oh yeah, they got to be good with their hands. I mean, we're willing to train too. We got a couple guys we're training right now. It's all just depends on that mindset, really.
Permits, codes, applications, all of that stuff. How difficult can that process be for you? I guess it probably varies from, I don't know, city to city or area to area, but things like that. Is there a lot of legwork there before you can kind of get rolling?
Permits can take time right now. I know the county's 4 weeks out. I think the city's even twice as long as that. But they've been real helpful. I mean, everybody down there at the city has been real nice with me and trying to work with us to get these pushed through. The same with the county. I just really believe that I got to have a strong relationship with them, and just so that we can push things through and make things work on a timely order.
Yeah. Well, hand in hand with that question, you've spoken proudly of your ability to turn somebody's blueprint to reality. I like that slogan. You turn blueprints to reality faster than traditional construction methods. How so? What makes your product that versatile?
Our lead times on our buildings are about 9 weeks from our manufacturer, which is pretty quick. We're putting these, depending on the size of the buildings, we're putting anywhere from a 5,000 to a 10,000 square foot building up in about 6 to 7 weeks erection time. But the main thing is developing we're trying to develop the best team we can right now. And the other thing we do is we have more one-on-one time with the client, trying to develop their picture to bring their blueprint or their dream to life, I guess.
I did not expect you to say 10,000 square foot buildings.
Yeah,
I don't know why. I work in a 10,000 square foot building. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, this place is huge in my mind. That's a
yeah. I mean, the biggest one we've done is 11,400 square feet. We've done several 10,000 square foot buildings. There's definitely some bigger ones out there. I mean, I know there's been some 20,000 square foot ones, some 100,000 square foot buildings in Butte on the Missoula Plans Exchange. There's some big ones out there.
Missoula Real Estate Today, presented by Diane Beck and Becky Peterson, the Beck and Beck team at Windermere Real Estate here on News Talk KGVO. Also, thank you to a couple of Diane and Becky's marketing partners who also help bring you the program every weekend. Miles Link at Opportunity Bank of Montana, and Rob Fleming with Man Mortgage. Back to Ryan Medlinger, owner of Reliable Steel Erectors here in Missoula. The materials you choose to use, Ryan, I get the impression you're a pretty particular guy. Are there companies you're especially satisfied with that you like to work with?
Yeah, we really like Anchor Electric. For electrical purposes, we deal with Western Montana garage doors for overhead doors. We do a lot of work with Montana Concrete in Missoula. They're a great group of guys. Also, Cornerstone Construction, Serious Construction. We do a lot of work with those guys. Yeah, I mean, it's all about developing those subs and getting a good team to put together.
You've had to do a lot of networking.
Yes, networking is very important in this job.
Well, so it seems like it's going on, seems like so far so good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of choices. That's good. And you found some that you're pretty happy with. How about the technology? You say, well, a steel building's a steel building. I doubt that. Any improvements or upgrades in materials, equipment, things like that have helped you upgrade your operation? I know you're fairly new at this, but still.
We're constantly working on our website. We're constantly working on marketing. Also, just developing a better system for bringing subs in and getting numbers put together. We're also been buying equipment as much as we can as we work and it can afford it. But yeah, pretty much developing that system in the background for the paperwork side of things, I guess, is where I'm getting at.
Yeah, and I'm thinking you erect one of your steel buildings from Reliable, and you put fixtures in, you do electrical things like that, but you are not necessarily the guy who's going to finish the entire project. That is up to the folks that own it, what they want to do inside. I was just wondering when you were talking about that, have you had a chance to go back and see, the entire finished product, what somebody has done to it? Hey, Ryan, come on back and let me show you what we did with the building here. I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. I'm always interested to go back in and see what the clients have done with it. The one barnuminium we did on the top of Lolo Pass on Highway 12, I got to go back into it, and what they did to it was amazing. I wish I could have taken pictures and posted it, but they wanted to be pretty private about it.
Yeah,
it was a pretty big building. I think it was 7,000 square feet with 3 huge overhead doors, and then they had their living quarters. And then we just added on to it this year. There was a big overhang and outside kitchen that they did on the outside.
Wow!
And it looks great. It looks real great.
That must have been a kick. That's great.
Oh yeah, we actually built that one in the middle of winter.
Wow.
Of Highway 12. Yeah.
Okay.
So it was an interesting.
Not
build.
the most winter in Montana is winter in Montana, but not the most climate friendly part of winter in Montana.
No, that road can get pretty nasty.
That's great though. That's neat that you got to see that completed, or pretty close to completed. Another service from Reliable Steel Erectors. How about steel fabrication? What's all involved with that?
I mean, sometimes we got to do a little bit of fabrication on these buildings, but most of these buildings are pre-engineered, so we don't have to do a lot of steel fabrication. We do steel fabrication, but that's not something that we really focus on entirely.
Okay.
It's more building the buildings and getting that done.
Missoula Real Estate Today, presented by Diane Beck and Becky Peterson, the Beck and Beck team at Windermere Real Estate here on News Talk KGVO. And my guest, Ryan Medlinger, owner of Reliable Steel Erectors in Missoula. Current projects or completed projects around Missoula, Ryan, that we might have seen and not have known. It's something you did that showcase the kind of work you do. What might have we done a drive by and seen?
I mean, my crew of guys, we didn't do it under Reliable, but we did. The group of guys that I have working for me did Big Sky Brewery. They did the Forest Service a hangar on the airport. Things that we've done are mostly been residential. We've done one commercial building, but it's nothing that's been right in the middle of Missoula. We actually did a dispensary over in Ennis, Montana.
Okay.
That was a pretty big build. That turned out real nice. Other than that, everything's been it has been residential.
Yeah.
So nothing that you'd see from the eye of Missoula, I guess.
That's all right. Yeah. And I think a few minutes ago you said the largest one that you have done so far was 11,000 something?
Yeah, that was someone's personal shop. Actually, the guy picked up the building. It was supposed to be for a church somewhere in Missoula, and it was an 11,400 square foot building, and it never got built. And the guy over in Florence ended up buying this building, and we ended up erecting it 20 years later after it was built. Yeah.
Was there there wasn't an existing building on it?
No,
It was
so
just, it
like
was
they bought
property.
the kit, and then someone came in and bought it from the church
Yeah.
for real cheap, and then we put it up for them.
Oh gosh, what was that like?
It was interesting. We had to get all new screws. Some of the panels were a little rusty, the top ones, but other than that, it was in really good shape for a 20-year-old building
Yeah.
that was sitting in a field for 20 years.
All right, so that's the biggie so far. 11.6 somewhere in there. Yeah. You are busy, of course, and I'm sure completion fluctuates an awful lot, but are there average turnaround times that you can give customers to help manage their expectations? I know that's a real broad brush question, maybe not even a fair question, but I'm sure you get asked it by every customer.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it really depends on steel lead times. Right now, we're 9 weeks out. So to get the building, we're 9 weeks. And then to put up a building, I mean, we just put up 50 by 60 in 4 weeks up Miller Creek. And then usually a 10,000 square foot building takes us about 8 weeks to put up, 7 to 8 weeks to put up from start to finish.
All right, pretty reasonable.
So, I mean, with the lead time and then the concrete time, you're looking at, 3 months for a 10,000 square foot building.
All right. Missoula Real Estate Today, presented by Diane Beck and Becky Peterson, the Beck and Beck team at Windermere Real Estate. My guest, Ryan Medlinger, owner of Reliable Steel Erectors here in Missoula. I'm sure you also get asked a lot about finance options. Can you be of help there? If somebody is interested in that, how do you assist them?
We did go that route for the first few years. We had financing available on our website through another company. We just didn't really get anybody interested in it. So it seems like most people that are interested in these bigger buildings, they already have the money or they're set up with the money. So
Okay.
I kind of pulled that off the website, and I haven't been doing it anymore.
All right. Yeah, so they have cash or the pre-approval.
Yeah,
So, yeah. That makes a lot of sense to me. Now, you're a pretty new company, Reliable Steel Erectors. You've been in the Missoula area for several years now, and I'm sure there have been some growing challenges as a new company. I'd like to ask you about how you've been able to navigate all of that so far.
Yeah, I mean, the most important thing has been networking and meeting the right people.
Yeah.
And we're really focusing on doing the best job we can do so that our client can, relay the information to other people. And that's just how we're mainly getting our word out, is from the good work that we've been doing.
And of course, we talked about crew,
Yes.
recruitment,
Yep.
right? That's an ongoing thing at any business. And
Definitely. We're trying to get pictures on our website right now. So if anybody wants to look at our website, they can get familiar with the faces and put the faces to our workers' their names. And it just makes it better for the client all around.
Yeah. You got a pretty good eye for talent, you feel like?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I do.
All right. I always ask every guest about success stories, any project or projects you've recently completed, commercial or residential, that have given you some extra satisfaction since ownership of Reliable Steel Erectors.
Yeah, the dispensary was a big one for us.
Is that the one near Ennis, I think?
In Ennis,
Yeah,
yep.
okay.
We have a couple commercial big buildings that are out by the Sportsman's Church towards the Y that we're pretty proud of. We've done some big multi-million-dollar houses, not the steel, just the metal roofing on them and the metal siding that we're pretty proud of. And then that barndominium up Highway 12 is one of our prized possessions or projects too.
Yeah. What is it about those projects? Was it just the size, the challenge, the terrain? I don't know, but start with the Ennis one. What was it about the Ennis one that made you feel so good?
The Ennis one was a 2-story building. It turned. Their display room is awesome. They did a lot of work to their, as you walk in there, and they took it to the next level. I guess I don't know how to explain that.
No,
but-
I get that. I get that. So that's a little ways from Missoula. I mean, your territory. Are you confined to Montana per qualifications or certifications, or reliable steel erectors will travel? What about that? What about
No, we'll travel. I mean, we do work in Idaho and Washington too. We got no problem with that. And then all the way over to Billings if we have to. I've been on a few jobs over there. Haven't got them, but definitely we'll travel.
Yeah, flexible. Missoula Real Estate Today has been presented by Diane Beck and Becky Peterson, the Beck and Beck team at Windermere Real Estate here on News Talk KGVL. My guest, Ryan Medlinger, owner of Reliable Steel Erectors in Missoula. It's free commercial time. Like I told my guest last week, I guess the whole show is free commercial time, Ryan. But what if somebody is considering a building for storage or dwelling or whatever, what makes Reliable Steel Erectors the best choice?
Really just the one-on-one that you get with us, and we really try and paint your picture of whatever you want in a timely manner. I mean, we're quick, fast, and we got good quality.
I think you brought up a great point there. You don't have to come in. We did talk about this early in the show. You don't have to come in as a customer with a grandiose design and saying, I want this exactly and this exactly. You can kind of come in with some ideas, and you guys have got the know-how to sort of take it from there and help them along, right?
Yeah, definitely. If you come in with the basics, we got a great group of architects that we work with that can, lead us in directions that we need to go.
Yeah,
because they're the masters at that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'll bet
we got to leave that up to them.
That's okay. That's why they're there. But I bet they get a charge out of that too.
Yeah, they do.
To find out more and to contact Reliable Steel Erectors, all of those things. What should listeners do if they are interested?
You can contact me by phone. We got a website, reliablesteelerectors.com. Call me anytime, 406-529-0191, or on the website at reliablesteelerectors.com.
Excellent. Ryan Medlinger, owner of Reliable Steel Erectors, this week's guest on Missoula Real Estate Today. I thank you for taking time out of your busy day to come in here, and continued success, and also hello to the gang at Superior Hardwoods of Montana, too.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, Danny.
Thank you for listening to Missoula Real Estate Today, presented by Diane Beck and Becky Peterson, the Beck and Beck team at Windermere Real Estate. For current listings and services Beck and Beck provide, visit movetomissoula.com. That's Missoula.com. We'll see you next time on Missoula Real Estate Today.
We're Beck and Beck with Windermere Real Estate, and we're really proud to sponsor the Grizzlies. I'm Becky Peterson.
And I'm Diane Beck. We have over 40 years of experience in the real estate industry.
It's the people that drive us and the relationships that we create that have made real estate our passion.
We were both born and raised in Montana and understand the changing market conditions.
It's that knowledge that we will bring to your next real estate transaction. When you think of home, think of Beck and Beck, and contact Becky Peterson or Diane Beck at Windermere Real Estate.
Every weekend, Diane Beck and Becky Peterson, the Beck and Beck team at Windermere Real Estate, present Missoula Real Estate Today on News Talk KGVO. The Beck and Beck team provides years of local experience for your real estate transaction and bring you guests that provide useful information on products and services available in our community on Missoula Real Estate Today. Saturday mornings from 8 till 8:30 and replayed Sunday mornings from 10:30 till 11 on News Talk KGVO, FM 98.3 and AM 1290, and on the free KGVO mobile app. Local and national news, area weather updates, sports, business and financial reports, interesting features like the Montana Forestry Minute and Montana Economic Minute. The more you listen, the more you know. Stay informed every weekday with Montana Morning live from 6 to 8 a.m., followed by Missoula's live 2-hour issues-oriented talk show, Talkback. Montana Morning 6 till 8, Talkback from 8 till 10. Live Monday through Friday on News Talk KGVO, FM 98.3 and AM 1290, and on the KGVO mobile app.